Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia decided to say something wildly offensive and stupid, because what else is new? He was speaking at Georgetown University Law School on Monday, and he said the Constitution guaranteed only religious and political protections, and that it wasn't up to judges to determine which other minority groups deserve legal protection. So here's his direct quote. What minorities deserve protection? What? It's up to me to identify deserving minorities? What about pederasts? What about child abusers? This is a deserving minority? Nobody loves them. Precisely, Antonin, which is why, cleverly, nobody on the left argued for rights to child abusers and pederasts. You made that up. This guy's incredible. He just makes up his opponent's position, and he says, well, why would I give them rights? Exactly, why would you? Nobody asked you to. So who the fuck are you arguing against? No, but see, he's trying to draw an analogy or extrapolate based off of the protections that we've argued that should be given to, for example, gay people. He's like, well, where does it stop? If you give people equal rights, slippery slope here, guys. Next thing you know, child fuckers, they're gonna get rights too. No, but see, that is illegal for a good reason. To have states and have laws that were against gay marriage, there wasn't a good reason for that. You simply weren't treating them equally under the law when they weren't harming anybody else. They were consenting adults who wanted to get married, and to stop that, prevent that via law, doesn't make sense. All the arguments against that are bad. Whereas when you talk about, people who fuck kids, no, there's a good reason to be against that. For example, kids can't consent because they don't have the mental capability to consent, because if you're having sex with a 9-year-old, they don't know what sex is in the developed adult way because they haven't gone through puberty. So biologically, they cannot consent. They don't know what the fuck they're consenting to. So that is you imposing yourself on another human being, and it's against the law for that reason, and it's a good reason it's against the law. Nobody's ever argued to give them rights because that doesn't make sense. There's no good argument there. It's not two consenting adults. That's not what you're talking about. And child abusers, who would ever argue to give child abusers rights? For fuck's sake. Abuse, assault is against the law because you're physically imposing yourself. You're harming another human being. When it comes to gay marriage, you're not harming anybody. Again, consenting adults doing what they want, not hurting anybody else. A 45-year-old person smacking an 11-year-old, physically assaulting an 11-year-old, abusing a child, that's bad because of the physical aspect and the fact that you are imposing yourself on somebody else, taking away their rights, and physically dominating them, assaulting them, hurting them. He tries to muddy the waters and make it like every issue is the same. I mean, why not go further then, buddy? I mean, rights for gays. Why not rights for serial killers? Where does it end? But that's stupid, and nobody would say that, which is why you have to make up what your opponents are saying and then slap that down. It's classic straw man. Hey, look at this thing that I just said that my opponents believe, even though they don't believe it, and I was able to smack it down. And then what do the idiots on the right go? Oh my, Antonin Scalia, he's our intellectual. He's so smart. He's an originalist. He's a constitutionalist. That's what he is. Yes, attack those lefties who don't believe the shit you say they believe, Antonin. It's so sad to watch, man. It's so sad to watch. And also, he acts like it's impossible to interpret the Constitution in a way that gives gay people equal rights. No, it's not. There's equal protection under the law is in the Constitution. It is reasonable for one to look at that and say, equal protection, okay, so everybody gets protected under the law. Well, marriage is the law. Nobody's getting hurt if it's gay people who want to get married. Why the fuck not? That's not like this ridiculous stretch of logic where it's like, oh, I don't see, it doesn't make sense. I can't look at that. It doesn't make any sense at all. No, it makes perfect sense. You're just refusing to acknowledge that that is a reasonable interpretation of the Constitution because in your mind, all you want to say is whatever the founders intended is, what we need to do. So, I mean, by that logic, ban all guns except muskets. You ready to do that, Antonin?